Hello, we are the Fair Political Practices Commission, or the FPPC, and we would like to welcome you to our video series for Form 700 filers. This module will discuss how to complete the cover page of the Form 700. Please note that advice can be fact-specific, and that you should not rely on this video alone for help. We are available by phone or email if you would like to contact us directly with your questions. Additionally, there are several other resources which we will discuss later in this video. Also note that during the video, we will refer to both the Form 700 and the Statement of Economic Interest. These are in fact the same document, but in general, the Form 700 is the form before it has been completed, while the statement is a completed form. To get to the Form 700 page on our website, start at our home page and click on the box that says File a Form 700. The page that opens not only has a link to the form, but to other resources that we will be discussing during this module. Supplemental materials such as the reference pamphlet, the Excel form, the gift and travel fact sheet, and amendment schedules can be very helpful to you when completing your statement. This slide shows the cover page for the Form 700. You are encouraged to complete it after you have completed the other schedules so that you can indicate how many pages you are filing. Always remember to sign and date your form. An unsigned form is considered an unfiled form. As you look at the example, you will see that our filer is submitting a single statement for two different agencies. This is known as an expanded statement. In this case, the filer must disclose at the highest level required for either agency, being sure to disclose the necessary interests for both agencies. The filer must print 2 hard copies of the statement and sign each copy to submit to both agencies. Officials filing statements electronically may be able to complete the form electronically on one system and print a hard copy to sign and submit to other agencies. Or they may have to complete the form on each system. If your agency has an e-filing system and you would like to file an expanded statement, check with your filing officer to see what is required. In any case, expanded statements may include as many agencies as needed, but officials must remember to disclose, on the single expanded statement, all interests per each agency's conflict of interest code. Start the cover page by noting your last name followed by your first name and a middle initial. Indicate your agency's name and your position there. Remember to disclose the division or department where you work. The example on our cover page is for a city planning commissioner. Other positions may not be so obvious. For instance, perhaps a filer is a treasurer for a county water board. In that case, the agency name is the water board and the position is treasurer. The filer would write NA in the division department section. She would note the county in Section 2. Another filer may be a city council member in District 4 of his city. He would note all of that information in Section 1, and note the city again in Section 2. No matter what your position is, you should not leave any lines blank. As just discussed, Section 2 is where you note your agency's jurisdiction. Not only is this required information on the form, but it will help you know which entities are reportable sources for you. You may have income and other reportable items, but not all of them come from sources in your jurisdiction, so not all will be reportable. Judges, please note that your jurisdiction is the entire state of California because your decisions impact everyone in the state. This slide shows 2 jurisdictions because the official is filing an expanded statement for 2 agencies, one at the city level and one at the county level. Filers who are unsure of their jurisdictions should contact their filing officers. Section 3 is where you note the type of statement you are filing. If this is an annual statement, it will cover the previous calendar year, not the year you are filing the form. You will be disclosing interest that you received last year up through December 31st. Do not disclose income, gifts, etc. that you have already received this year if you are filing an annual statement. If you are assuming office, you should note the date that you assumed office. This is the date you started performing the duties of the position, or the date that you were sworn in, whichever is earlier. Please note that assuming office statements must disclose reportable income, including gifts, loans, and travel payments from the last 12 months, as well as any reportable investments or real property that you hold on the date you begin your job. If you start your job on October 1st or later, you will not be required to complete an annual statement next year. Assuming office statements must be filed within 30 days of assuming office. If you are leaving office, check the box to indicate that, and provide the date you stop performing the duties of the office. Mark the appropriate circle to indicate if the period covered is January 1 through your leave date, or if the period covered started on a date other than January 1. This would occur if you start and leave the job in the same year, perhaps February 20th and November 3rd, respectively. Leaving office statements must be filed within 30 days of leaving office. We recommend that they be filed on your last day, but no sooner than the last couple of days before you leave. You may file a combined annual statement and leaving office statement so long as you file within 30 days of when you leave your job or by April 1st, whichever is earlier. For instance, if you leave your job on February 25th, you can file a combined annual and leaving office statement, which covers all of last year and January 1 through February 25th of this year. The due date for that statement would be 30 days after you leave office rather than April 1st. Please note that filing officers are required by law to follow up with officials who do not submit a leaving office statement, and they must refer non-filers to FPPC's Enforcement Division. If you do not file your leaving office statement, you may be fined. When you have completed all pertinent schedules, you may finish the cover page. Note the total number of pages in your statement, including the cover page. Check the boxes to indicate which schedules you are submitting. If you don't have anything to submit for a given schedule, you do not have to include that with your statement. If you do not have anything to report and are only submitting the cover page, check the None box. Section 5 is where you verify that everything you have disclosed is true. Provide your full address and phone number. Again, we recommend that you use a business address and phone number to avoid members of the public trying to contact you at home. You may use a generic email address for the same reason. If your agency has a general email inbox, you may provide that rather than your own work or personal email address. Remember to date and sign your statement. An unsigned statement is not considered filed, and your statement will be marked late if a signed version is not submitted within the appropriate time frame. Late filings are subject to fines from your filing officer and from FPPC. If after submitting your completed statement you discover that you have made an error or left off a reportable interest, you should amend your statement as soon as possible. You do not need to complete the entire form again, only the schedule or schedules where there are errors. Amendment schedules are located on the Form 700 page. Please note that the amendment will be attached to your original statement and that your original statement will not be discarded. If you have further questions on completing your Form 700, we are available to help. For questions on what to disclose or how to disclose it, call us at the number above or send us an email. If you are having technical problems with your agency's e-filing system, please contact the filing officer at your agency to see who provides support for your system. If you are having technical issues with FPPC's system, please send an email to the address noted on this slide. This concludes the training module on the cover page of the Form 700. We hope that you will watch our other videos for Form 700 filers to learn about other schedules. As discussed in this video, you may want to complete the cover page last so you'll know which schedules to attach to your completed statement. Thank you for your interest in FPPC training.